On the 9th of January 2022, the national football teams of Cameroon and Burkina Faso faced off in the opening match of the 33rd edition of the Africa Cup of Nations. With the home advantage, Cameroon easied their way to a 2-1 win thanks to 2 penalties converted by a familiar face, their experienced striker, Vincent Aboubakar. But on the billboards that surrounded the pitch of Cameroon's brand new 60,000-seater stadium was a somewhat unfamiliar face. 2 days after the opening match, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges, Binance, announced it had struck a deal with African football's governing body, the Confederation of African Football, or CAF. According to a press statement released on the day, Binance says, "This sponsorship deal will make Binance the exclusive cryptocurrency and blockchain platform for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations tournament, as we take our global brand and technology to African football." For a tournament that is usually sponsored by banks and the leading brands from the food and beverage and telecoms industries, it was quite unusual to see the presence of a crypto company. To fully understand why one of the world's largest crypto companies is investing in African football, we need to look at why the continent is developing a keen interest in cryptocurrencies. According to the 2021 Global Crypto Adoption Index, Africa is the 3rd fastest growing region for crypto adoption, with the region witnessing a 1,200% increase in adoption over the period between July 2020 and June 2021. Africa is the 2nd most populous continent in the world, with around 1.3 billion people. Due to historic issues with civil wars and harsh terrains, African countries have suffered from infrastructure problems for a long time. This has made financial services less accessible, leading to around 57% of the population remaining without a traditional bank account. That means over half of Africa's population is not included in the financial sector. At the same time, underdeveloped infrastructure has made Africa a perfect vector for cryptocurrencies, which only require a smartphone to access and utilize. Instead of traveling long distances to access basic financial services, with cryptocurrencies, one would just need a smartphone to make a quick transfer or payment. Another factor that's driving crypto usage in Africa is that it is providing an alternative to international remittance platforms like WorldRemit and Western Union. When a country is rocked by political and economic instability, many of its high-skilled workers emigrate to more favorable economies. Despite them leaving their home countries, they continue supporting their loved ones back home. Such is the case with Sub-Saharan Africa. Many of its high-skilled workers left and continue to leave for greener pastures, but they still continue to support families back home and invest in whatever way they can. Annually, Sub-Saharan Africa receives over $30 billion in the form of diaspora remittances. Inflows from the African diaspora are vital to the lifeline of the continent's economy. For countries like Gambia and Somalia, diaspora remittances account for over 20% of their annual GDP, and for others, diaspora remittances are a source of much-needed foreign currency. In 2020, Zimbabweans in the diaspora sent home over $1 billion, exceeding the $995 million and $782 million the country made from country gold and tobacco exports. Only platinum exports, which earned $1.7 billion, brought more foreign currency into the country. Despite Africa getting significant inflows of remittances, the cost of sending money to Sub-Saharan Africa remains the highest in the world. Access to crypto platforms like Binance provides Africans with the opportunity to bypass these high transfer fees. Using a technology known as peer-to-peer or P2P, users can send money from one user to another directly without the need for an intermediary, saving money on transfer fees. While transferring money through cryptocurrencies does incur a fee, its lower fee structure and the easy universal access to cryptocurrency networks via mobile phones make these cryptocurrencies more convenient than traditional banking and money wiring services. Cryptocurrency experts speculate that the simplification and cost competitiveness of sending and receiving money with cryptocurrency will fuel the continued growth of digital currency adoption in the region. The third factor driving the crypto surge is Africa's terrible history with unreliable local currencies and hyperinflation. In 2009, the Central Bank of Zimbabwe released what is probably their most famous banknote. Although their 100 trillion banknote is no longer in use and is largely now a collector's item, it serves as a reminder of what could go wrong if the country's money printers are left in the hands of a few people. A trillion, by the way, is a million million. There are 12 zeros in a trillion. Add another 2 and you have the total on the Zimbabwean $100 trillion bill, the note with the most zeros of any legal banknote in all recorded history. The bill circulated for a few months in 2009 at the peak of one of the most terrible instances of hyperinflation in history, before Zimbabwe's lawmakers threw in the towel and abandoned their local currency in favor of the US dollar. At one stage, the $100 trillion note would not even cover a bus fare, and you needed a bunch of notes just to buy a few household essentials. Faced with problems with attracting foreign investment and high fiscal spending, the country had to keep printing money. Prices would change by the minute, causing stress revolving around the fluctuations. You could buy an item for one price at 10 a.m. in the morning, and by 1 p.m. in the afternoon, it would be selling for a totally different price. Cases like Zimbabwe's are on the extreme end of the scale, but even the not-so-extreme cases can still severely affect people's savings and incomes. This is why Africa has taken a liking to crypto as a currency and a store of value. Unlike conventional fiat currencies, cryptocurrencies are decentralized and many major cryptos have a cap. For example, Bitcoin has a cap of 21 million units. These features solve the main weakness of fiat money, discretionary printing, which causes hyperinflation. What's more, all crypto transactions take place over a decentralized and distributed public ledger called a blockchain. This means adopting cryptocurrencies will also help to deal with the plague of corruption as it ushers in a more transparent financial system, unlike the central bank's opaque monopoly on printing and regulating money circulation. All these factors make Africa a hot market for crypto startups, and by sponsoring the continent's largest sporting event, Binance is simply positioning itself for this region. Although Binance is facing competition from locally based crypto platforms like South Africa's Luno, what makes Binance unique is that it is both an exchange and a peer-to-peer marketplace. Binance may also be looking to tap into Africa's youthful and internet-savvy demographic. Sports could be a lever for crypto adoption as many young sports fans are already using their smartphones for sports betting. A 2017 survey found that up to 54% of sub-Saharan African youth between 17 and 35 years have engaged in some form of sports betting. This demographic might be an easier target market for crypto adoption. The Africa Cup of Nations is not Binance's first foray into Africa. In October 2018, the company opened an office in Uganda and signed up 40,000 new users in its first week of business. Its next move was aimed at increasing awareness on cryptocurrencies. This stage saw Binance give over 500,000 Africans free crypto lessons. Crypto is still gaining popularity in Africa, despite the fact that most countries in the continent still haven't regulated it, with some including Nigeria even banning its use. The allure of the currencies and lack of regulation have created a lucrative hunting ground for scammers, with some Africans losing millions of dollars to swindlers claiming to run some sort of crypto exchange. By attaching its name to Africa's favorite sport, Binance is looking to turn the eyeballs of the tournament's audience of over 300 million to drive crypto adoption and enable greater access to financial services for the unbanked in the continent. Whether their investment will yield dividends or not remains to be seen. Did you know about Binance sponsoring this year's Africa Cup of Nations? Let us know in the comments. If you want to learn more about this topic, check out the video description for some links to some resources that were helpful for the making of this video. And as always, thanks for watching.